I became a comrade at age 11, active participant in activities of the struggle. I mean, I would attend meetings, I would organize. I might not have been one of those who would go out to other places for conferences, but organizing locally, I was involved.
In 1976, they were fighting for education.
Yeah.
They were eager for education.
Yes.
But in 2026, it's completely the opposite. Now the struggles are more internal than the external ones. If you look at where we live, the youth is busy with alcoholism, drug abuse. I was very sad, very hopeless. I spoke to the apostle and said, Ma, I did not receive the bursary. And she said to me, God would not allow you to go to university and not provide. Fortunately for me, it was on a Friday, and then on a Monday, I received an SMS saying, you are one of the recipients. Go and collect the Fundi card.
Meets real life, and every conversation begins in the name of Jesus. Welcome to In My Name, where faith meets real life.
Welcome back to In My Name podcast, where we win souls through testimony. My name is Nwabisa Nzuzo, your host. Today we are in Youth Month, and Youth Month is such a powerful month to remind young people of what happened in 1976. We do have an understanding that youth are still struggling. There are struggles that sometimes are not documented or no one ever mentions them. But as young people, they know. Young people know what's going on in their lives. So we just want to unpack here. I've got Bishop Phike. So I call him, that's a bit rude for me to say. So I've got Tutata here, who is our bishop in our church at RRM. And we have Mdu, who is standing for young people, right? And there I have Amanda as well. So I didn't even see that I was doing that. So we have so many scenarios, but today we're just going to concentrate on the struggles in 1976 and what young people wanted. And as everything that they wanted and they fought for has been achieved in 2026. So now we're looking at youth in 2026. What are their struggles? What are they struggling with from the things that have been, conquered basically in 1976? So I have Bishop for that I would like him to, just give us what actually, transpired in 1976. What was, he because he was there. So what did he see? We're very curious in that. So over to you, Bishop.
No, thank you very much. Let me sound youthful and say Nwei. That's what the youth would call it. No, thank you very much for having me, and let me also greet your audience this evening. There's a lot that we can say about the revolution of 1976.
Yes.
I think some of us can even write a book. I can write a book about my life story.
I would definitely buy that book.
Yeah, to get to people to understand where we're coming from. But the primary objective of the 1976 revolution was the result of the government of the day decreeing that in the Bantu education, and I'm going to speak about the systems of education that were there, that in Bantu education, the medium of instruction will become Afrikaans. And that stemmed from a decree that they took in 1974, a language decree of 1974, which started to say that Afrikaans must become a medium of instruction. So the three systems of education that were there, it was the white, which was called education. Then it was the House of Representatives, and then it was for the blacks, the Bantu education. So irrespective of which education system it was, Afrikaans was going to be the medium of instruction. The black people of the time, under the leadership of the Black Consciousness Movement, Steve Biko, then decided they are not going to accept this because, one, it is going to weaken the economic system of black people in this country. They will not have a power because they will have to then conform to the realities of Afrikaans.
Yes.
So we took to the streets in 1976, and everything that happened there. It did not even end there. It went beyond 76. This year, we are celebrating the 50th year of the 1976 revolution.
Yes.
So in each of the years post 1976, there were celebrations and commemorations and all that. And I think the government, the democratic government, took it very serious to say we need to annually commemorate the death of the people of 1976. So that is really what happened. It was unfortunately not a good time. We are today talking about Hector Peterson, who died as a result of the 1976 revolution. And there are many other people
that are not
in
mentioned.
the country that are not, unfortunately, not mentioned, heroes and heroines that lost their lives during those revolutions. But primarily, it was the implementation of the 1974 decree on language. And of course, it became a reality in 1976, and it just created the revolution.
Thank you so much. So Mdu, we're looking at 2026, right? And we're looking at young people. So where do you see them? What is really going on in the lives? Obviously, you're not going to know exactly, but we are on social media. We see what's going on. So give me your perspective on this particular year where a lot is happening. So just give me a brief on what do you think the struggles are from the youth of 2026?
Let me first start by greeting everyone in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. When I look at the youth today, obviously the struggle has changed.
Yes.
In 1976, they were fighting for education.
Yeah.
They were eager for education.
Yes.
But in 2026, it's completely the opposite. Now the struggles are more internal than the external ones. If you look at where we live, the youth is busy with alcoholism, drug abuse. There is access to universities and colleges, but the problem is the youth does not meet the minimum requirements simply because they are not invested in their own education. Now that is what becomes the struggle, because no one is really focused. And this stems from their backgrounds because they grow up seeing this happening at home.
Yes.
And abantwana bafunda ngobona.
Injalo.
Yeah, so they see this as being something good. So xa bekhula, they become alcoholics. And it's quite a very sad thing because the youth is known to be strong.
Yes.
The youth is known to have
They are
energy.
our future, basically.
The
They are
future. They are the
leaders.
future. Omutata once said, if the youth could go with their strength, but have the wisdom of the elders, then we would have an even better nation. But today, the youth is destroying themselves.
It's sad.
Yeah, so
Sad.
even though things have changed 50 years later, but we have new challenges, and the challenges stem from back home now.
So I didn't say that you were a teacher. So Dewey is a teacher. So you can imagine the frustrations that he would have with a child maybe that comes from a home where alcohol or any other substance is a issue. So he probably most of the time has to stand in as a father, So that is where he gets his perspective because he's a teacher. So he knows exactly what he's talking about. So let us look at your experiences. Dada, I don't know how old you were when 1976 hit, and we see the videos, those videos are everywhere. Filmmakers have made it more visual for us that were not there. So we see very, very young children. Like, my question is that grab that child, get them, into the house. Why are you outside? But I feel that probably that was a different time altogether. So where were you? What were you doing, on that particular day? I'm quite curious.
So it in Sharpeville, it must have been on the 21st of March.
Okay.
Or rather June, the 16th of June, where all these things happened. But it was a series of events across the country.
Yes.
Each of the various small and big towns had activities that were happening. I was still very young, of course, but what fascinated some of us and my friends where I grew up was the chanting of Amandla. It sounded so fashionable at the time. Amandla, you would even walk down the street and lift up your fist and you call Amandla, and the power that came with it resonated with some of us. And I'm one of those people who were chanting Amandla, and later on I also got a t-shirt. I would wear it day and night. It would become my pajamas. It would become a t-shirt during the day. But attending, remember, I come from a family where my father was a farm worker until he retired.
Mm.
My mother was a kitchen lady until she retired. And during the day, when we come back from school, I would quickly do the household chores, and my attention would be, I want to go to this Amanda gathering.
Yes.
And as you sit there, I think I was a bit sharp. And as you sit there and you listen to what people are saying, they are talking about the realities of that time.
Yeah.
Your mother is a kitchen girl. That's how they were called. It's a kitchen girl. Your father is a farm boy. And you start to identify and it's like, okay, my father is also there. My mother is also there. Maybe it's time that I must also join this.
Because they've been called boy and girl.
They're called boy and girl. You immediately then identify, you join. You become a comrade. I became a comrade at age 11. Active participant in activities of the struggle. I mean, I would attend meetings. I would organize. I might not have been one of those who would go out to other places for conferences, but organizing locally, I was involved. I would even carry the bag that had the T-shirts.
Wow.
The South African Youth Council at the time, now called the ANC Youth League, we used to be Seiko. I would carry that bag that has all the Seiko T-shirts. I remember my T-shirt had the face of the Namibian president at the time. I can't get Nujoma, Sam Nujoma. On my T-shirt was Sam Nujoma as the favorite person because we were not very sure about Nelson Mandela and the others within the ANC. And Sam Nujoma's face was on my shirt.
Wow.
Carrying that with South African Youth Congress
With pride.
With pride. Then we started. I remember, if you can check on my body, I've got a few bruises as a result of participating in protests. But we participated. What we were participating for and in was not known, but we did it because I also don't want my father to be called a boy or my mother to be called a girl. We participated, and I can't even tell you where I was, but I was on the streets. But I can tell you one thing: 5 o'clock, I would find myself home. Was mom would come back, and if she does not find us at home, it will be another ball game at all. My father is on the farm, so he would not see us, and we would then take chances. But during weekends, we'd be quietly at home. Because also participating in those things. And remember, I grew up in a family that was born again.
Okay.
My father and mother, I became a young adult, they were born again. So there is, and my father was a pastor.
Mm.
Now being a pastor's kid, what is now called the PK, we are
Yeah.
called the PKs. You needed to uphold this PKism.
Yes.
And on the other side, there is this struggle about the reality of the day, which you needed to deal with. So you were caught in between these two total different dimensions of your life. As a PK, you must always be disciplined. You must not be seen doing this. And on the other side, you know what the reality is about this very same PK of yours, the pastor who's your father and your mother. And you needed to say, in spite of them being in the church, we want to also get our country right. So that really had its own ramification. But I was in the struggle. Whether for something I know or I don't know, but I was there. I was carrying that bag. I was
With pride.
chanting and with pride.
And you, the thing is, while I'm listening to you, I'm looking at you're quite tall, right? At a tall, thin, you were not malnourished, but, as a young boy that time, I'm sure you did not have a lot of weight. So a thin and, carrying this big bag with everything inside, where if you were caught,
Yes,
you would have been in trouble.
I would certainly have been in trouble. And of course, I was very light in complexion. So they would not even know whether I'm a colored or I'm a black. And I'm sure if they would have come and say, well, I would have just said I'm a colored so that I can be saved, because it was after black people. Remember, it was the Black Consciousness Movement that was driving this whole 1976 campaign. But we survived.
You
Here we are.
survived.
Here we are.
Do please share with us. I know that you had your own struggles with the education that people wanted, and now education. There's quite a lot of other departments in the government sector that are paying fees, and there's scholarships, there's bursaries, everything is available. But I'm sure there are things that are still a struggle to fill in the gap, because these things don't happen instantly. So if you get a bursary, it doesn't mean that now you have money immediately. So there's quite small gaps that young people that are interested then in education, because we cannot put everyone in one belt and say that young people are just busy drinking and doing substances. There's a lot of young people that are wanting to persuade a career, and they're very focused and all that. So please share your experience.
First of all, as much as it is easy to get into university, it gets flooded very quickly. So you have to apply on time so that you can get space on time. Yeah, so with me, it was difficult because I applied a bit late.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had already started working as an assistant
Okay.
at a school. But I was anxious because I had already been late. It was 10 years later after my matric. Yeah, so it was about early April or late March when they called me and said, come quickly, because they only have one space.
Oh.
Yeah. Fortunately, a friend of mine gave me money to
Okay.
go there quickly. Yeah, so that's when I was admitted. And then I had to wait for the bursary. I had already applied for the bursary.
Mm.
Then it wouldn't pay off very quickly.
Yeah, there's a waiting
So
period.
I
That is
had
not
to use
communicated.
money that was not there for transport.
Yes.
So I had to borrow money for transport. The result, I think, would come a month later, whether I had received the bursary or not. And then it came. The results came and said I was not one of the recipients.
Wow.
I remember, I was very sad, very hopeless. I spoke to the apostle and said, Ma, I did not receive the bursary. And she said to me, God would not allow you to go to university and not provide. Fortunately for me, it was on a Friday. And then on a Monday, I received an SMS saying, you are one of the recipients. Go and collect the fully card.
What?
So to me, that was a miracle.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a miracle for me. So as much as if you have good results, you do get the bursary, it does not pay out very quickly.
Mm.
So you have to find your way until it pays out. And then after that, you look like you are employed.
Balemali.
Yeah.
Outing into.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me that's my story.
Okay. So let's look at young people and voting. I need to be honest. My thing was I needed to check on the stats, but I know that young people don't see the reason for voting. And I don't think they like the fact that they need to go and stand in a long queue just to put an X next to whatever party that they want to join. So I want us to look at what is it about voting that is important for our young people to get that message and have an understanding that voting is important. You're making your mark. So, as a person that has experienced what you've experienced, our bishop, that they were not there.
Yeah.
And I think most of the time they don't really even bother. They're like, Sana, we're not the youth of 76. We are the youth of whatever year that is.
Yeah.
So, how would you encourage them to go and vote? Because it's regardless if it's 76 or what year, voting is just different. It was the first time for us to vote. Obviously not me. In 1994, in 1994, for everyone to vote, and the queues were packed. But as the time goes, and those elderly people are, leaving the earth, obviously, now there's more youth,
Yeah.
right? So, how would you encourage the young people to keep doing what some people fought for?
So, when we went to vote in 1994,
94.
it was intentional.
Yes.
Some of us said liberation has arrived.
Mm.
We ultimately found ourselves in Canaan. Inkululeko nansi siyayibona. But then for us to be able to claim lo nkululeko was then to say the only way of doing that is to go and vote. Because without voting, we would not have been able to even have a taste of freedom. So that was the intention. It had an objective in us. But secondly, it was the fact that we grew up in this segregated, the El Kamalite apartheid in actual fact means segregation.
Yeah.
It's two different systems that are different in their form, and each of your nationalities would then belong into a particular system. And then coming from that segregated system called apartheid, we knew the hardships thereof.
Mm.
So the objective was then to get out of that hardship and also be able to move into what we call freedom. And the only way for us to have been there, because we've been observing across the African continent,
Mm.
South Africa was the last one in Africa to be liberated.
It took longer.
It took longer. All other countries got liberated. Namibia, the last one, Botswana, I'm talking around us, Namibia, Botswana, Lesotho, Zimbabwe. They were surrounding us. It even then went into South Africa, Swaziland. Swaziland got liberated.
Before us.
Yes, and people just got liberated and we were still struggling. So you had that thing of also wanting to be those countries.
Yeah.
That was the objective. And I think one of the reasons why our and of course, the economic situation.
Yes.
The economic situation, which I had just spelled out, a young child, 6, 7 years old, from a white family, calling my father a boy, the garden boy. I mean, I am older than this child.
Mm.
I would dare even call any uncle within the environment a boy. It will be uncle so and so, put so and so and so and so. This boy, 6 years, call him. I could just not understand that. Or my mother, the kitchen girl. And we said that those things must change. We also want to drive nice cars. We also want to stay in town.
We want a choice.
Yes, because we were staying in the township. It's called the town. Look, when we said no, we want to stay in town, what makes us different? It's only our skin color. So those are the things that drove us to say we want to go and vote. 1994, I spent a whole day. I was at the voting station as early as 9 o'clock. I left 8 o'clock the evening. The intention was to change the country. We've got the youth now
Yes.
that has never felt nor tasted apartheid in its real brutal form. And I think they do not understand why they should vote. They are liberated, they go to white schools, they do not have segregated universities. You know, I was forced to go to either of the three universities, either for the Teflop is now called University of the North,
Mm.
it was Teflop or UWC. Because Jakes Hervel at the time said this, we are going to open the doors of learning and culture at the University of the Western Cape. It was also historically a colored university. But Jakes Hervel came in and said, we open it. And then we then had a choice of those three. Going to the UCTs and the vets and the roads
Was
of this
just a
world,
dream.
it's a pie in the sky. You would even dream about it. And so we then said, let's go. And when the voting started and our kids got liberated, I personally don't think they understand the might of putting your tick next to an organization of your choice. Because therein lies the power. But having said that, I think, and I'm speaking now as a government official, I think it is most probably going to be time that the IEC
Yes.
starts to recognize that the generation that we have in the youth
Mm.
do not want to use pen and paper and stand in the queues. And I think they need to start to open up for online voting, as they did with the online registration as well.
Like we forced you now.
Yes, that you forced me to do. So I think the online voting, they need to perhaps open labs and let people come in, sit, do their voting, go out, than having to give one person a paper and have 3 or 4 booths whilst there are 1,000 people standing outside.
Yeah.
So I think we need to also transition as a government into an online or a digital voting of
Yeah.
some sort, so that we don't have our youth in particular being demoralized of standing in the queues. But the last thing I want to say, and I must say this, I think the youth of today lives in an environment of entitlement. Zizinto zethu ezi, they even speak about struggles. Hayi, zizinto zethu zalwelwa ngabazali bethu.
Ah.
They don't know how did we get these things, nor do they know how these things are obtained.
And how intense
And
it
how
was.
intense it was. They are having an entitlement. The universities awuvula yethu singabantu base-South Africa.
Mm.
That entitlement, and that goes to the issue of bursaries. You know, it's narrating a story of a struggle to get the bursary.
Mm.
The students today go to NSFAS and they toy. Imali zethu, zimali zabazali bethu. I don't even know whether they know how much tax I'm paying, but they do say zimali zabazali bethu is, and we want. So that entitlement makes them not understand that they must vote, because they think that everything that is in the country is theirs. So they don't have to vote.
So I think they also adding to that. They don't understand RTP houses.
No.
And they don't understand grants.
No.
Where or how. And all the other countries that were
Yes.
liberated
Yes.
before us don't
Yes.
have grants.
Yeah, no.
If your parent is old, you need to send money to them wherever you
must
are.
support them.
If then you don't, I think there's a challenge there. They will
Exactly.
starve.
Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge is this entitlement, and that is why when they get the NSFAS payout, From the bank, the first stop is stops, Pick and Pay Liquor, ShopRite Liquor, Zbani Tavern, and so on and so on and so on. They don't think about having to buy groceries. They don't think that they must send money home because it's a microcosm of our students who have that thinking. Very, very, very little. And then they just lambast the money. So I think that entitlement
The issue.
that has been brought about by the liberation, of course. And I think as adults of today, most probably we need to be able to teach our kids what liberation really means and how should we appreciate the freedom that we are having.
Do. Back at you. So, young people, as Tata said, what do you think? Like you said now that they feel the entitlement, they feel that things must be the way that they are, forgetting that there's taxpayers' money and who actually pays tax. So if we're looking at percentages on people getting grants and people that are working, yeah, it's quite sad.
Yeah.
But that's not the topic that we want to tackle. But now look at tell us, what is it that young people feel that they why should they vote? Like, why do you think they should put those things forward, thinking, okay, because this and that and that will encourage us to vote. Tata has tackled the line, and I feel that that is also the challenge, standing in the queue for too long because they've got people to see. They're busy. So tell us, what would you tell a young person, why should they vote?
Okokuqala, Sisi wami, uTata touched on something that's very important.
Mm.
The youth in 1976 was fighting for the dignity of their parents.
Yes,
And the youth of 1976 was fighting for education.
true.
Now, the youth of today is entitled
What were they fighting for?
today.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they even know themselves. Yeah, today they are just entitled. They don't want to do anything today. The youth of today is mobile. So voting for them keeps them in one place for a very long time. So they are more on their phones most of the time. As Tata said, if the government could find a way of making voting available on the phone, online. Two, also our leaders are failing us with the promises. And also this thing of the thrift, I'm not sure how much is it now that you get paid by staying at home, doing nothing. That also promotes laziness and lack of accountability. When I went to school, my objective was to take my family out of poverty, be the first one to be a graduate, because I've never had anyone who has graduated in the family. I wanted to be an example. I wanted to be a role model in the community. So the youth of today looks at people who wear fancy clothes as their models, people who drive fancy cars as their role models, not people who have an impact on people in the community. So I think they have taken their eyes off the ball, because long time ago, or in 1976, it was about building the nation. So the youth of today, there is no morality. There is a lot of moral decay.
Do you think that even though there's different categories in youth, right? An 18-year-old, obviously, their priority is literally to just go to school and do what the parents, tell them, or avoid what the parents are telling them and do naughty things. That's okay. So there are young people that are actually working. Do you think that the ones, because I've seen on social media that it feels like they feel that they need to vote, right? because in the workplace there's racism. This is a new apartheid thing. There's racism, which is said very lightly. And then when you really think, hi bo, le English, ithini na le English. Let me just go and ndichaze ngesiXhosa uba lo mntu lona ebesithini kanye kanye. And then it hits you, but Sana, you've been reminded, but back off, or like, calm down, child.
Yes.
This is not your place, you know. So can you gather maybe one or two things that you think that would push young people to vote? Because our aim, it's not our goal basically, because we just want to see young people achieving what they really want in life, and getting to where they need to be, reaching their goals, whatever goals, career, whatsoever, because we cannot put them under one belt, as I've said. So what few things that if you tell them to remind themselves that, Sana, this is what I'm fighting for. This is what I'm fighting for. This is what I'm fighting for, which would make a difference if I vote. Because I think that is where most of them have told me that, Sissy, I don't know who to vote for. Leaders are just, misusing money. So I don't know who to vote for. But we need to give them reasons and remind them, remember this and that. Remember this. But it needs to be in their own context, what they're struggling with. Because we voting, because I vote because I know what apartheid did, and I love history. So I've learned at school and so forth. I know why I vote. You know why you vote, because you understand what happened in 1976. Tata knows it happened to him. He's the worst out of all of us. Like, he knows, So with you, what would you tell a young person to encourage them?
To encourage them, ndingathi mina awukwazi ukhalaza ngento that you didn't take part in. Sizi products ze-choices zethu.
Yeah.
So if akhange wenze choice, then yintoni uyikhalazelayo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if vote, it's making a choice.
Okay.
So that ukuthi kunje nje mna nantsi yami indima endiyidlalileyo.
I
So
love
if you
that.
didn't vote, what is it that you did? Uyakhalaza.
Okay. So I love that, because if you choose not to vote, you have made a choice. So you need to just suck it up. So Tata, do you have any last remarks?
Yeah, so I really want to encourage the youth of today. I know today is the 20th and tomorrow is the 21st. It's a voter registration. They must go out in their numbers, go and vote. As Mtu is saying, if you do complain and you did not vote, then you are really wasting your time. But if you've gone out and you vote right, you are part and parcel of those people who want to bring about change in our country, in our workplaces, in our education system, you name them. I really want to encourage the youth to go and vote and make their voices heard. And we are not going to say what you must vote for, but we really want them to go and say, I have put my stamp on my organization. And if your organization is the one that is winning, then you hold that one accountable. And I think that is the only thing we are encouraging our youth, is to say, go and vote, make your voice heard, and let us see the country change for the better.
I love
Thank you.
that. And there are quite a lot of young people now that are talking online. I know of a girl, I think her name is Bota. She brings back the books that have been written, that have been in hiding. I don't know where she gets the books, but she explains so many things that young people maybe did not understand. So I really, really love that young woman. I thought that, young people need people to follow so that they understand, they have a clearer picture. So there's something that we usually do in the podcast, and that is scripture after the whole conversation, because we want to link it back to God. We just don't want to talk, and that is that. So we would like our bishop to please give us a scripture.
So there's a nice scripture in the book of Timothy, which says that the youth must not despise their youthfulness. And I want to say to the youth that we have today, don't undermine the power that you have been given by the grace of God, free of charge. And look at yourself as a youth, or look at yourself as a young person, and perhaps see yourself as a person who does not have influence, or as a person who does not have the power to change, or as a person who is useless. There is no such. When the Lord created people, He said, let us create human beings in our image. And the image being God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let us create a people in our image. So as soon as you dehumanize yourself, then it means you are not an image of God. I would not be able to say what image you are. And I therefore want to say to our youth today, get closer to God. There are many things. Umdu has led a very good testimony of saying he did not get the bursary. But when he spoke to the apostle said, there is no way that God would lead you into the university and get you admitted, and He does not have a plan.
Imagine.
There is no way that God would have brought you on earth and you become alive, and He has no plan. The Bible in Jeremiah says, even before we were born, He had a plan for us. And I want the youth of today to stand up on their feet, stand tall, know that they are a subject matter in the eyes of the Lord, and take their rightful places and make it known and make it heard. And may the Lord bless you as you go and vote on the 4th of November, 2026.
Do you have any last remarks?
Speaking on behalf of the youth, the word also says the sons and daughters, that sons will dream dreams, they will see visions. So God has a plan for them.
He does.
They just have to start taking a stand.
Mm.
Because they have been given the power. God loves us. He knows the
Yeah.
He states that He plans not to harm us, prosper us, to give us a future. So we are the future, but we have to take first.
Yes.
Oh my word. Like youth, I don't know if you hear this and you do not go and cast your vote. He will be literally in my prayers. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to both of you. You've literally grown my understanding as well of all the topics that we've discussed. So if you are here at the end of this video, thank you so much. We're really happy that you've literally finished. Clock it. So we are very excited that you have finished the whole video. And one thing that we will probably ask you is subscribe. We have more viewers than our subscription. And for this to reach more young people, we need you to make sure that you subscribe. You know how this algorithm works. You need to comment, tell us, are you voting? Have you heard, the scriptures that were given to you when it comes to leadership? So give us your comments. Tell us that you are going to vote. Tell us that the youth of 76 did not suffer in pain for nothing. So you are taking initiative to make sure that your life is what you would like. Because remember, you make a choice regardless. Whatever you do, you are making a choice. So make the right choice and make sure that you take initiative to go for your career, do leadership stuff, whatever that will grow you. So we are so happy that you have watched the whole video. So thank you so much. Please stay blessed.
Jesus, welcome to In My Name, where faith